Alright guys, how's it going? This is Dan here with Grapevine recording and welcome back to part 3 of our mix. It's getting late in the day now. I've been doing this for a couple of hours. I've had a little break. I think it's very important to, have rests every couple of hours, just to give your ears a little bit of a rest. But I've done a little bit of messing, as you do. I've put filters on most things and whatnot, and let's have a little listen of where we're at so far. I think I may have got the beginning of it right now. Right, so that's where we got up to. I think I had to just do a couple of little level tweaks just to get, that part where when the drums kick in, it all opens up just that little bit more. It just took me a little bit of messing, like EQ and some little things. Nothing mad. It was just more experimentation. Like, I never added anything more than what we done on the previous video. It just took me a little bit longer just working out levels and stuff like that. Again, we know what we're doing on this lead part. We just added that little EQ. I've kept this bit exactly the way it was. Oh, don't want to do that. I'm actually quite happy with it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to expand it out a little bit further, but put a longer fade on it, if that makes sense. How do I adjust this fade? Where are we? Delete that. Let's just drag that to there, because you'll hear the noise, like, yeah. Hear it? It's not very nice. So maybe if I go into slip mode, just drag that all the way back, because we don't need that fade just yet. I'm just gonna split that there, then just drop the gain of this right down. Do you see the effect that gives, just because it's still there and it kind of just fades away instead of just disappearing completely? And then if we offer a fade onto that, let's just listen again. I still think we can get rid of it a little bit more. It kind of jumps out a touch, doesn't it? I also want to add a little compressor onto these ring outs here, just a subtle one, just because I think one of them kind of jumps out just a touch. So what can we use? Because we don't necessarily want to make it louder, we just want to control it. Let's use this. Nice little peak limiter for us. Should just level them out a little bit just to make them a little bit more consistent. Let's hear it. We've lost them completely there. Another thing we're going to add is just another EQ just after that. I will use this. Let's just hear where about it needs to be. Lovely. One of the other things that I did before was I sent this to Bus 2122, which, if I remember correctly, is a spring reverb. Yep. Just to add, just a little bit of definition into it. Well, not even definition, just to give it that little bit of a sound, It's kind of quite typical of, that kind of like ring out chords, just to have a nice little wavy reverb just in the background. But it sounds pretty good. Where are we? Then obviously this EQ comes back on here. Oh. I like it a lot. What's next? We want to check out this one. What's the point? I'm asking you. I don't think we actually need any of this. To be saying, what's the point? I'm asking you. Yeah, no, I'm happy with that. I like that. Next part. What's this doing? Oh, that's the... We don't need to do any with that just yet. It's this bit that I want to check. I can start a fire. I'd like that just to stick out a little bit more than it is, so I'm going to use that same plugin that I used before, which is the filter bank. I think it's just a little bit under 1K. I can start a fire without you if you start to fall. Matchstick man, a candle maker, I can do it all. Somehow I doubt the cause. Somehow I think I'm gonna put a little compressor. It's quite hard, really, because we multi-mic'd everything, so there's kind of 2 versions of it, and well, there's 5 versions of everything, really, if you go and find them. But so I was trying to pick that right one, but I think you're quite lucky when you do have more than one mic of everything, because you can sort out the pans a lot better, and you can treat everything as like stereo tracks, so you can get it really wide. But on when you're trying to like listen to certain things, you've got to listen to each track separately, but together it's quite bizarre. Right, what you could do is just bus everything together into one channel, and then you just treat that channel as one. But that all depends. Right, so let's try and drag this down a bit. For some reason that reverb keeps coming in. Right, let's hear how that sounds, eh? I can start a fire without you if you start to fall. Matchstick man, a candle maker, I can do it all. Somehow I doubt the cause. Somehow I doubt it all. Ooh, it's sounding good. I'm very much happy where we are at this moment. I'm happy with these. These are just going to set up a deverb. Just a delay. Oh, that's not deverb. That's deverb. It's just adding a plate delay. Well, plate reverb. Nothing too fancy. It's just to... I know for a fact that the guy who plays it just said he kind of wants that to be swimming in reverb. But I really like, the attack of the pick. So I didn't really want to get rid of that too much. To be fair, I'm pretty happy kind of where we are at the moment. I think everything's kind of sitting nicely and nothing's really striking me. Let me listen to this beginning bit again because I'm sure I'll want to change it. So let's just have a little listen. And then if everything's good, we'll move on to vocals. I'm happy with that. That last thing that it brought up is just a analog channel by McDSP. If you want to have a little listen to what that does, it's very nice. Listen to the snare. I'll start it with it off and then I'll bring it in. I think it just brings the kick, bass and snare to life, and that's exactly what I like it for. Vocals. All these vocals were recorded on 3 different tracks, just for 3, the verses, the pre-chorus and the chorus. As I immediately just set up a bus where I put Waves Tune on it, but I'm not using it. Waves Tune's just an auto tune plugin, or like pitch correction, if you will. I've got a de-esser on it, which is just, it's not taking them out completely because it sounds ridiculous. It just lowers the S's down. It doesn't go like woof. It just little bits, just so it's subtle but it's effective. And that's just going to another reverb, which is the Renaissance reverb, which is in a plate mode, just a vocal plate. Nothing fancy. And then the factory default mod delay, which I don't even know. I put it on and I thought it sounded nice. So let's have a listen just to them on their own. Let's get rid of that. The child on the left is as dead as you. If there's no victims to be saved, what's the point? But yeah, they're all adding little subtle bits, and I do like it. I think you could probably spend a lot of the time messing around with the reverbs, like, ridiculously in depth, just to, like, you know, get it working. But I'm going to do a little bit of automation, probably quite a bit of automation, actually. On these, I'm going to draw them in, just because I find it easier. So let's have a listen. I think... Where's my button gone? Where's my button? There it is. Not that much. What? Actually, it doesn't sound that bad. Let me just make that silly. It actually, weirdly enough, it doesn't sound too bad. I just want to adjust a couple of the EQs. To be fair, I think I'm actually going to turn that EQ off and add my own one in. I'll use effectively the same the same EQ, but the EQ that's kind of on its own little thing. So yeah, we're going to add. We need to listen to this on its own. The child on the left is as dead as you. If there's no victims to be saved, what's the point? I'm asking you. Just in case you didn't know the difference with that. The child on the left is as dead as you. Again, it's not major. I think the tone of his voice is kind of pretty good for this song anyway, and you're not really going to use that much to try and get it sounding all right. So let's see what it sounds like when it goes into the pre-chorus. I'm asking you. Somehow I doubt the chord. Somehow I doubt the chord. Somehow I doubt it all. I can start a fire without you if you start to fall. Right, yeah, I've just done some little tweaks just to kind of fill out that 1 to 3 kilohertz range. That's where, like, our ears are most sensitive. So, you know, you want the most attention-grabbing part of your music to be in that area. So that's why I kind of boosted it a little bit there. So let's just hear the verse to the chorus, and let's just, you know, see whether it all sounds all right. Is Sounds pretty good. I just added a little dip in that frequency on the snare just in case. Cool. Right, say this bit. I can start a fire without you if you start to fall. Matchstick man, a candle maker, I can do it all. Somehow I doubt the cause. Somehow I doubt it all. That is some very aggressive vocals. Right, I think we need to spend a little bit of time getting that DS sounding right. The child. Somehow I doubt the cause. Somehow I doubt the cause. Somehow I doubt it all.
I can start a fire without you if you start to fall. Matchstick man or candle maker, I can do it all. Somehow I doubt the cause. Somehow I doubt it all.
Cool. Let's just see how the ending is, and then I think we're going to be pretty much good to go for now.
I can start a fire. I doubt it
Yep. I think that's it. I honestly think that'll do. Let's just see how, because we need to, I'd like to put a little bit of a limiter on the end just to kind of bring the volume up a touch, but it's not on anything that can't be done later. But yeah, I think I've learned a lot actually in like doing the video like this, to try and, you know, I've had to spend a lot more time to kind of go over the stuff that I'm going to talk about, if you understand what I mean, just so like the information that I'm giving you is correct. So I found that when I was editing things kind of away from the camera, I spent a lot of time like listening to things and going through it, probably more than I would in any other circumstance. But that allowed me to really think about it, you know, and really like spend time and go through like pros and cons of different things, which is amazing. That's the whole point. And it's allowed me to gain a completely different perspective on what it is that I do for the mix. And, you know, as you can see with like my mix bus, I don't really do that much to it. I put a little compressor on it, and I do like a little bit of like analog emulation, and that's about it. Where you get a lot of people who like limit it to death and then EQ it to death and things like that. But I don't really want to do that, because like, if I know for a fact that this EP is going to get mastered, and, you know, that's not my job. My job's not to touch it on a mastering type of level, and I wouldn't want to do anything that ruins it. So but yeah, I think I've learned a lot, and hopefully you've kind of learned a couple of the little aspects on like my workflow and things like that. But if there are any questions that you want to direct towards me just regarding anything that I've done, just in case I didn't, you know, really clarify that well, please feel free to let me know in the bottom. I'll probably go over a lot of the techniques in more detail, because obviously I think, you know, you could spend all day on vocals, and I haven't really got all day to spend on them, but I kind of got them to a position where you go, yep, I'm happy with that. Like, I really am. And I think for what the song is, I think it worked really well. You know, it's just one of them type of, like, you know, I don't want to say indie band, but, you know, like, it's a straight up rock song, and, you know, the guitars need to be big, the bass and drums need to be tight, and the vocals need to sit on the top, and that's pretty much what they do. But yeah, hopefully you did enjoy it. I really hope you do. And of course, we never actually ended up using that much stuff in terms of plugins. We've done a little bit, but yeah, you know, you could be there like going all the way down. But no, I am really happy with it. I am. And thank you so very much for watching. When I finish this, I'll put it at the end, you know, the entire track. Actually, I'll bounce it, and then we'll have a listen towards the end. So yeah, I will bounce it out right now. I will bounce the disc as a WAV 24-bit 44.1 convert after the bounce, and I will bounce it to my desktop as You Couldn't Make It Up. But yeah, thank you so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully I'll see you in the next part. You all take it easy.
without you. If you start to fall, matchstick man or candle maker, I can do it all. Somehow I doubt the cause. Somehow I doubt it all. They say that he moves in mysterious ways. There's no fire without smoke. There's no lies without you. Somehow I doubt the cause. Somehow I doubt the cause. Somehow I doubt it all. I can start a fire without you. If you start to fall, matchstick man or candle maker, I can do